All right, what's up, world? We're back. We've been away a couple weeks, but we are officially back. New episode of Grammys and Heismans. Your host Chuck Walton, alongside my brother, my co-host JG, Justin
What's
Giangrande.
up? What's up? What's up, world?
How you feeling, man? Where you coming from now? JG's been on a literal world tour. I'm like Tennessee, Oklahoma, Alabama, Oklahoma State. I'm like, where to next?
Um, where is to next? That's a great question. You know what? It's the recruiting world, so I'm not allowed to say. I don't know. I can't say. Well, actually, I can't say, and I don't fucking know. So
how
it's a
how
little bit.
was
It's a
Tennessee
little bit
though?
of both.
I saw you out in Knoxville. I always wanted to go there. What was that like?
To where?
To Knoxville.
Oh man, Knoxville is unbelievable. Like um, it's what people don't know is it's got a river and look, I'm a gator, so I'm gonna get killed for saying this because you know how that goes, but it's nice, man. It is, and their fans, I mean, it's 114,000 people. I'll give them credit. Even when the Gators were just whooping them, they still always shoot up like 10 years ago. Like
Yeah.
never stop. And it's cool to see them back. Although I think the Gators, we're not going to comment about it. The Gators left one out there. They should have won that game. Let's not talk about that. I'm a little upset about it still, but
I know you don't want to blame the refs, but the refs were kind of questionable in that game as well too. Like you can't like there were some calls at the end where I was like, I don't know, this is a little suspect.
yeah, but Knoxville's amazing. If you haven't been, I have an advisor, first person to ever invest in one of my companies named Gordon Whitener, who by the way was just on the Paul Feinbaum show about 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
But he's a good friend, mentor of mine, and it was great out there. Good to see people, and yeah, can't complain. If you've never been, you got to get out to these SEC schools are just special, man.
I saw a good buddy of mine just posted a video. He went to the Virginia Tech game last night, and he was like, the atmosphere was crazy, but he's an SEC guy. He was like, it's still nothing compared to the SEC. So he literally just posted it on Instagram. So I mean, we might as well start there. I mean, since we're in the SEC and you were at the game, our premier flagship client, DJ Lagway, has officially been named the starter for the Florida Gators for the duration of the rest of the college football season due to Graham Mertz going down with the ACL injury. I mean, just for you, I mean, for the company at large, this is big. For the Lagway family, this is big. But for somebody like yourself, JG, I know how much you've poured into just the Lagway family. And I mean, every week we're getting updates. It's like, yo, DJ's got his helmet. He's warming up. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what's funny? Every time you say something, it's like he ends up in the game. I'm like, yo, this is. I feel like you willed him there. Like this is crazy. So
I'm like,
let's
come
talk
on,
about that.
guys. I'm like, come on, guys. The brands want to get behind him. They just need him to be the starter. Come on,
That's
no.
it. That's it.
You know, I actually am probably more cerebral about it than other people. Like, there's a lot of other people that like thought it was crazy that he wasn't the starter. But Graham's a good player. I could understand going through an SEC schedule. Graham was great, mentored him, and but
Yeah.
now it's next man up. And I can't lie, I'm definitely excited to see him. Kind of seems almost crazy to see him play a full game. And as a starter, we're about to see it against SEC competition. I know there will be highs and lows. I'm sure there's moments that he's going to do things that are just ungodly that we're like, I can't even believe he did that. There's probably going to be a couple times we're like, oh man, like the rookie one would love to have that one back. Like, SEC cornerback's a little faster than we thought, right? So, but yeah, I'm excited. I think, look, in a program that needs hope, inspiration for the
Yeah.
future, I think he provides that. It changes. It's not just about winning the game now; it's about building for the future. So yeah, we're super excited about it. It's cool. See our other client Tank Hawkins getting burned out there. He's getting some balls, and
He is.
you know,
I'll say this too. Like, prayers to Graham Mertz, man. You hate to see anybody go down like that. And by all intents and purposes, he's a great guy. He's been a great mentor, and a leader. But man, it was just interesting. I think in a weird way, this is the best thing that can happen for Florida because now, you know, like you say, highs and lows are going to come. He's a true freshman. But for recruiting, I think it's so great because I think that DJ one has already shown enough flashes for other guys out there, right? That are like, hey, you get the 5 star, but like he's shown enough to go like,
yeah,
hey, maybe I want to flip a commitment and go to Florida next year. I mean, the throw he made at the end of the game, last week was absolutely incredible. I mean, he just it was like old school Brett
that
Favre,
was.
like
I mean, You know what's crazy about that? That was like instinctual, if that makes sense. You could sense like that is a I would say ballsy. That yeah,
That
it's
was the
I
term I
mean,
was going to use. It was a ballsy
it,
throw.
like it's not only a ballsy throw, but like most people, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. It seemed like he didn't even think about it. Like it just happened. You know what I mean? Like, all right, it's time to make a throw. We got to get in the end zone. I'm gonna step through two defenders, step through and thread a needle. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty. Yeah, but I agree. Like it looked instinctual. Like, all right, it's time to go do this. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it. Look, it's good, nice for Gator Nation to have something to be excited
Oh,
about.
yeah.
So
No, it's so funny. Me and Nia, my girlfriend, were watching the game. He gets in, and then she's like, wait, that's the client? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, wow, he looks like a baby. I was like, he's also 6'4", 250 pounds. I was like, once you see past the baby face, you know?
yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah, he's got the baby face for sure.
no, DJ, go get him, and we're rooting for you. Big one in Kentucky, and just the rest of the season. Getting that schedule going. Well, for other athletes and other sports that are just seeing the expansion of the network. Just talk about the different verticals that we can go into in terms of just this NIL space and just there's we got volleyball. Badminton, cricket.
No.
Hey, pickleball's going crazy now. Just talk about what it means to be able to expand. Can we even expect us to really get back and start doing more on the esports side?
I think, look, I think just talent matters. I think, look, right now we're focused on the high school and college space, and obviously as these guys go pro.
Yeah,
But I think what we've learned from the NIL space is that if you're a special talent in whatever sport you are, there's one or two talent that can really cut through. If they're charismatic, if they understand social, they can cut through. So for us, and the philosophy, even though it's a different sport, of course there's specializations, but the truth is, if you know how to brand and put a strategy together, you know how to leverage an audience, you really can really sign any talent when it comes to this space if you really know the steps that you need to. So we have an unbelievable partner, Doug Scott, who's in my opinion one of the godfathers of athlete branding, has done amazing things for Serena post career, and just yeah, I think, to me, I don't want to ever put limitations on the company. Football, basketball, women's sports. We candidly, you probably see us get into soccer. Um, but yeah, just excited to kind of keep an open mind. We're not a mind of like, let's go sign 100 clients in a vertical. Like, you're not gonna. It's not because we signed CD and because we have Rachel that we're gonna go sign 20 more track clients. That's not true.
right.
It's that when we go in a room, we know who different brands fit with because that's our people we're going for. So, excited about all of it.
Speaking of that, just staying in the NIL space, we have a fan question from Twitter. They want to get your feedback here, Justin. This is from Casey Fanboy 9932, and he says, "Is the NIL era going to help distribute money and attention across different sports, or will it make the divide between the major sports and other sports even more drastic?"
Can you say that again one more time? Read it again.
It says, "Is the NIL era going to help distribute money and attention across different sports, or will it make the divide that's already there between major sports even more drastic?"
Man, um, I think it's going to be good for those other sports. I don't think they've had it figured out yet. I still think the major sports are going to receive more, but no, I actually think this is going to close the gap a little. I think there's going to be this. I don't know if the proportionally, the gap still might be just as wide, but I think it's going to put more resources into those
Mhm.
into those smaller sports because they're going to have to because of Title IX. So I think
Right.
deep down, now, look, there's some people that say, are taking the stance that they think it's going to have to be equal. I don't think it's going to have to be equal, completely equal. I just don't think, look, you can't expect a sport like football that does 80% of the revenue to have equal with women's basketball as an example. I think that's tough. It just doesn't financially work. I think there has to be some understanding. But yeah, I think overall you're going to see more resources. Also, look what we've seen with women's sports. We've seen when more resources have gone into women's sports, more
Absolutely.
dollars there. I mean, there's a woman I know, Jasmine, who has, I think it's Monarch Collective. It's a fund they raise 150 million to invest in women's sports. I mean, her thesis is that the more that you put in, you're going to earn back faster, which I really respect her. So excited. I don't think it's going to be as much of a divide. I'm hopeful that it's going to be just more resources into sports that wouldn't have gotten them before.
I like that. I mean, speaking of that, I know you just came back from the USC Next Level Sports Conference. How much were they diving into NIL? Just tell us what that was about. And how often do you get invited to those things? I mean, everybody's considering you like the NIL wizard and the guru. How do you kind of decipher like which events? Not only that you go speak at attend, but also events and rooms that you feel like you can gain some knowledge as well. Because we're always learning.
Well, I start with this. I go to the invite list and I see if Chuck Walton is hosting host the post party, and if it's Mixer brought to you by Chuck Walton, I'm definitely in that.
Then
Um,
I'm in there.
you know what I think is cool just about events in the past 2 years, you're seeing more. I'm going to call them NIL events, but the truth is, it's college sports events that are happening. Um,
Hmm.
that room that I was in was a stacked room. It was not only it was kind of people that went to USC and loved their school, but all real people in the sports and entertainment world because at USC is a big driver of the sports ecosystem. How do I get invited? I have a wonderful podcast called Grammys and Heismans. No, but
Hey.
no, I think it's just I tell people all the time, and even kids that want to intern, you're either in sports or you're not. And once you get in it, it's a very close knit group. And how do I spot what's going to be valuable? I mean, look, that's at the Intuit Dome. John Terzian, business partner of mine, invited me. The people putting it together, and I think it just continues to see that yes, at there, you know, what's interesting, it wasn't just about the growth in college sports. Like people keep thinking there is a growth in college sports going on, but there's just a boom in sports going on, like
Hmm.
sports. And one of the best
Overall.
was sports as an asset class. Tony Ressler, who owns the Hawks, is like, I think this is one of the most undervalued asset classes, period. So I think everyone thinks that all of this is happening with sports because of college. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
I think it's putting more emphasis and interest in sports. But guys, across the board, I think it's special. I think that there's a lot of great things going on. So
I mean, and you said it was at the Intuit Dome. I mean, just for all the LA fans or people that want to come to LA to see this new, beautiful arena that Steve Ballmer built, just give us a glimpse on what they can expect when they step into that place.
well, I think the customer experience is supposed to be the most interactive and best kind of frictionless experience. Like you can kind of serve yourself. I think one of the most interesting things I think I saw, and there was like I don't call it a kiosk, but it was like I don't forget the company. It was like in my head, it was like they were growing green algae and plants under lights, and I think you could take some home with you. I don't really know what it was.
That's crazy.
It was some real LA shit. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
Had a grow shop in the arena.
what was amazing. Yeah, what was amazing is people were like, "Wow, this is so good. This is such good for the environment." I said, "Man, if you put this in New York, people would throw you like
Uh,
people would riot."
yeah, that's such an LA thing. Yeah, if that
Yeah,
was in New
it'd be in
York
New
or
York. You'd be
Chicago,
like, give me a cup of Dunkin' Donuts, give me an Adderall, and give me a cigarette. I don't need
in a,
any.
in a, in a pastrami sandwich at halftime.
Yeah, that's right. In LA, they're like, "Oh, does that kombucha have extra gluten in it?" You know what I mean?
No, no doubt. Literally. Can't wait to check that out. We have one last NIL question that came in. This is from, oh, wow, your neck of the woods. This is from New Maryland Girl. Okay. '07. New Maryland Girl '07. It says, what is true about the state of the NIL world now that maybe a year ago people would not have predicted? And where do you see it going a year from today?
That is a great question. What is true? I love the way it was worded. What is true about the industry now? And what have you not, what would I have not predicted, to be clear?
Yes. Yes. And what can we expect a year from today?
Well, let me be clear. What I would have predicted is what has happened now, that all these schools, I'm going to call them schools, recognize they need to pay attention and they need to be on their P's and Q's and looking at what's coming daily, because this is something where if you lag behind compared to other schools for 2 weeks on a ruling or on the opportunities that exist, people are just moving. So
Hmm.
I would have predicted that. I wouldn't have well, I wouldn't have predicted that the NCAA would be rendered so powerless. I think, if that makes sense, like
Hmm.
to go from where you're the authority to where everyone's basically calling your bluff the whole time and just is not real, is that to me, eh, that to me means that the leadership there really got it wrong.
Yep.
And something that I think we're seeing coming. I could be wrong. I know there's a lot of people that believe rev share is coming in July of 2025. I personally don't think, I think that's premature. I think
Yeah.
it's really hard. Something I've learned in business, like everything takes longer than you expect. So, I
That is a fact.
try to get my daughter, a daughter out the house with Bentley, then that's like negotiating to make that happen, organized. You're telling me you're getting every college in the entire United States on the same page
Yeah.
to play by the set of the rules.
Yeah.
That does not feel like that's a 6 month deal,
No,
So,
that feels like 10 years. That feels like a 10-year situation, if you ask
yeah.
me.
I mean, Chuck, I'm going to flip that to you. I mean, so those are mine. But what do you think is the most, yeah, what is the most surprising to you about the state of NIL currently? Would you say?
To me, beat it like a dead horse. To me, I won't say the surprising thing is that I meet with more moms and dads or uncles of like the 2 or 3 star recruits that expect their kid or nephew to just have a Gatorade deal on the table, and I feel like you know I'm also, I was just having this conversation earlier. The surprising thing to me is I didn't expect the parents to become like these stage mom and dads on steroids. Like I'm seeing the parents almost treat their kids, like like they're just like a meal ticket. You know what I mean? I think it's become real crazy because it's a feeding frenzy. And in reality, what I love that we do at the network, right, is we're trying to build these kids up for success, whether they make it on or off the field, right? We're treating them as a business, and a lot of the moms and dads I'm seeing, it seems like they're trying to like get this quick dollar and cash in, and it's like, okay, so okay, your kid does get $1 million and he's going to Florida State. Are you going to blow through your kid's money, their freshman year before they even see the field? So I think that was surprising just to see how, I think it's changed, parents. There's people I know personally that went from like, hey, if the kid doesn't want to ever play again, I could care less, to like literally forcing a kid to like stay in a sport that he, may not even really be super good at because they're thinking like there's like some life changing money there, So kind of like you alluded to with the women's sports and stuff, I think there's a misconception. Um, because as much as I'm a girl dad just like yourself, right? Like I would love to see women's college basketball, the WNBA get, you know what I mean? But the reality is, you got to make the numbers match. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna watch the finals tonight, and it's gonna be a great game. But there's the amount of people watching the WNBA finals compared to watching the World Series is drastically different. And so in terms of splitting stuff, even I just think I'm just surprised at how many realists aren't out there. In the wake of the NIL era.
I hear you. Well, I think that's. I want to. There's something I wanted to. Did you see the? I'm gonna make sure everyone's. Did you see the viewership numbers in Japan for this? Let me make sure. This is from Front Office Sports, guys. Okay, I want to make sure we don't miss this. Okay, here we go. This is wild. Ready? So the league said Thursday the decisive Game 5 of the National League Division Series between the Dodgers played on October 11th drew an audience in Japan of 12.9 million viewers. Okay? That figure easily surpasses the United States, which was 7.5.
And that's
Japan,
Japan.
Japan as a country,
The
straight
Shohei
on.
effect.
Guys, let's double click here. 7.5 in the country where this sport is to
That's crazy.
12.9 million people were watching.
Almost double.
That's wild.
That's almost double. That's crazy.
I mean, the commitment to excellence in Japan is just unbelievable.
It's
Like
also the show. It's the Shohei effect. I mean, I was just saying the other day. I think Major League Baseball, Fred Manfred. I think everybody, Rob Manfred. I think they are praying on hands and all knees that they get this Dodgers Yankees World Series. I mean, like that would be, especially
so.
baseball. I mean, they need it.
Well, yeah, why? Yeah. Oh, I mean, that would be incredible. Guys, if that happens, guys. If that happens, Chuck and I will be doing the podcast live from the parking lot. Okay,
I'm about
real.
to say because we cannot afford. I wanted to go to the division series. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the game. My girl's all excited, and I looked at the tickets. I was like, yep, we can watch it right here on the couch. We,
Wow. Hey, Mets are up 11-6, huh? That's interesting.
yep. Dodgers in six.
Okay, so I mean, guys, think about that. Those viewership numbers are crazy. Honestly, honestly.
That makes no sense. Yeah, Japan. I mean, in Japan, they got some more players coming over there. They got a pitcher right now that's like literally like once in a lifetime. Roki Sasaki.
Who's your team, Chuck?
Oh man, embarrassed to say, the White Sox. We just had the worst record in Major League Baseball history, which is like I can't even put that into words. Yeah, the White Sox. So
Can you
we're
imagine
down
being
bad.
a team like that, where even if you're paid, like your job is to do that? You imagine playing 162 games where you're awful. Like at least in like football, it's like we're terrible, but there's 16 or 18 games. 162, you're like, dude, this is just
And in terms of the major sports, right? The three major ones, that would be the worst one to play and be on a team like that because the game is so long. Like you're just sitting in the in the dugout, just knowing like, wow, this is like the worst season ever, and we got like 4 months left of this shit. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, speaking of crazy, my bullshit of the week this week, and shout out to our producer Manny. We were talking about this before you jumped on, JG. Uh, the American sports story, Aaron Hernandez story. I'm not sure if you dove into this thing yet,
I
but
dove into it. I mean, I have, I was there, so I want to hear your bullshit because people, people, go ahead, give me the bullshit. What we got?
well, what I'll say is Ryan Murphy's incredible. I
Hey,
love what he did. He's incredible. I love what he did with OJ. I love what he did with the Gianni Versace story. He's incredible. But I want more. I wish he would have consulted more, with somebody really from the sports world or maybe somebody like yourself that was really there. Because I think the dramatics in this thing have just gone so overboard, that it's almost like fallacy fantasy land. I mean, they turned him in, to I mean, not that he was. They've made him like the monster of all monsters. I told Manny, I'm for love, period. I don't care if you're gay, straight, in between. I'm for love, period. But I'm
you
like,
just think it's so sensationalized the whole.
I think he sensationalized the gay scenes. I mean, like the episodes are like 15 minutes of the gay love scenes, and I told Manny, I'm like, yo, even if you're, you can go watch a Hugh Hefner, biopic, and they won't show you doing, straight sex scenes for that long. I just think that I'm like, what narrative are they playing into here? I'm like, I don't know if it was ever fully proven that Aaron was,
Yeah.
was gay, which is fine if that's what he was, but I'm like, I want to get more into just some of the locker room stuff or what were the teammates thinking. I mean, they had a scene in the episode the other night where
Yeah.
he took his wing and was like just spinning it around the locker room. Like, did that really happen or is this like sensationalized? Like, it's just crazy to me. Like,
um, so here's my take. I was there during that era. Let me actually say some things. There's some things that are in there that he got right, which I'm like, how did he figure this out? I also do agree he has gone extreme with some things. And then I just feel for guys on the team. Like if you were on those teams, you're like, I mean, like if I'm friends with some of those guys, like I wasn't in those locker rooms, but I'm sure they're thinking to themselves, like, bro, this was not like this. Like, this is insane. Like somewhere the Pouncey twins are rolling over. Like they're going crazy.
like we need to get them on the show. It's funny. I was telling Manny, Nia didn't even know that she doesn't know the story, and so for me, I told Manny it's become so sensationalized that if she wasn't watching it for the first time, I probably wouldn't even tune back in. But it's something unique about seeing how she's responding to some of the dramatics in these scenes because she literally doesn't know the story at all.
I mean,
And I'm explaining to her, I'm like,
hey, he's incredible. I mean, Ryan Murphy, dude,
he's the
is
best.
dude, he's like the Otani of film and TV. This guy is just, you know,
He's the best. I mean, speaking of that, I mean, who? I mean, besides and go watch that. Go support Ryan Murphy. Not that he doesn't, need the money. He's got a ton of it already. He's killing it. But who would you want to see him do an American sports story on next? Like, who are some names that pop? I mean, nothing's as sensational as what he's been able to do with Hernandez, but there are some crazy
hey,
stories out there.
look, uh, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not. Who would I want to see, guys? Actually, chat, fans, you tell us. That's on the next episode. If you could have any Ryan Murphy movie made about a sports store, who would it be?
I'll say for me, top of mind.
Hold on. Could you imagine if they made the you Ryan Murphy version?
You're right, because they thought you guys in Florida were crazy.
Oh, dude,
Miami was really
dude,
crazy.
if they do like the 2000 and 2001 Miami team, this what is it, the seventh floor, right? With
Yeah,
Greg Olson, seventh floor
that
crew.
Which, by the way, shout out to JG and everybody over at XSET and Brianna and the team. We're filming with Clinton Portis on Tuesday for the Florida State Miami
Yeah,
rivalry next week. So
yeah.
shout out to the U legend Clinton Portis, one of my brother Marcus's favorite players. But yeah, if they did the U, that would be great. I mean, maybe that's it. I would love to see something on the U. That would be something they could tell over 10 episodes. I was gonna say I would love to see him do a story on Allen Iverson. I think the Iverson story would be absolutely nuts.
Well, I mean, look, a Mike Vick would never be terrible. I'm not going to say that, but you
A
know.
Mike Vick would be
Oh,
great.
big update. Our guy Mike Vick. We launched his V7 Heritage line with in partnership with Virginia Tech on campus. It's crazy. He was drawing numbers bigger than Otani. It was like 6.7 billion people. No, I was kidding. Uh,
Yeah.
he had a lot of people, man. 4 p.m. before the game. I don't know, thousands of fans that came out, and super excited. You guys should go online and buy. And we're going to be launching a lot of stuff with him. His V7 apparel line, signature stuff, amazing. Just very cool, very cool. I continue to go back. Let's bring this back to good. What this is what I. Those are the moments I love about NIL. I love that Mike Vick is now back on the campus doing things to support his school, the
Yep.
football program, but also doing business. It's okay that he's
Yep.
doing business.
Yep.
So, um, but look, I think, guys, it's that favorite time of year. We got NBA starting, we got MLB playoffs going on. Guys,
Yep.
they should just call this, like, whatever this period is. This is guys' Christmas. This area. This is, you know what I mean. Like, this is. We should come up with a national holiday. Whatever this week and a half is, this should be. You
It,
know.
it should be. This should be kind of like a Thanksgiving break. Like everybody should.
That's right. And what? And like women should, like we should get neat. Like they should know that this is our time. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I know you're going through sports sweeps week. You know what I mean? Like,
She's gonna be mad now when she comes out the room and she thinks we're gonna watch a movie.
baby, it's sports sweeps week. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, baby? We got hockey, we got baseball, we got
It's going down.
college football.
College. It, it's going down. I can't wait.
Yeah, the Lynx are in the finals. Leave me alone.
And I'm literally watching the game the other night, and Ionescu hits the craziest Kobe Bryant from the past logo. I'm like, I mean, sports has never been in a better spot. The network's never been in a better spot.
That's right.
Um, we're killing shit, JG, man. And by the way, thanks to all the fans that have been tuning in and supporting Grammys and Heismans.
Yeah,
Special thanks to Carlin and Molly and Manny, Michaela, everybody that chips in and helps us produce and get these, Carson, everybody that puts the assets together. Manny ran the numbers the other day, man, and we just started this thing just to, put two brothers together and talk some shit and shine a light on what we're building over here. But we're getting some great numbers, man. So this thing's only going to get bigger and better. So we appreciate you guys.
yeah.
Any last thoughts, JG? Where you at this weekend?
Oh man, I am so happy. I am home this weekend.
Man,
Dude, Thursday to Sunday trips across the country, 2 weekends in a row.
that's crazy.
I have 2.5-year-old. I get back literally, honestly, keeping it 100. Everyone always, what's sports life like? I was at that Tennessee game till 12 o'clock. Could not get an Uber to get out of there. Got to my hotel at 2. Had to leave for the airport at 3 because I caught a 5 a.m. flight home to be back with my daughter to try to be there to be spend Sunday. So I make a promise that even if it's tough on me, I do everything I can to get that back across the country to kind of pick up that day. So, but yeah,
Yep.
man, we got a bunch of stuff coming. Chuck, thank you as always, and we'll
All
talk to you all soon. All right.
right, love you, brother. We'll see you next episode.